At my wedding reception, my mother-in-law grabbed a glass of champagne, stumbled up to the mic, and slurred loudly. "We all know she'll never be good enough. I paid 3 different women to try to break them up." The room went dead silent as she laughed, clinking her glass against the mic. "Worth every penny." What she didn't realize was that the DJ had already started live streaming the entire reception to family back home, and within minutes, her confession was viral. By morning, half her friends had publicly cut ties, and my husband filed a no-contact order. I didn't even want a big wedding. I wanted something simple, me, Jason, a few people who mattered, maybe in a park or small venue. But his mom insisted on the vineyard. "Jason deserves something elegant," she said, like I was planning to serve fast food on folding chairs. "Jason told me we should just go with it. She'll chill out after the wedding," he said. She didn't chill out. She never did. Melanie had hated me since day one. I wasn't flashy enough for her. I didn't grow up rich. I work hard, nursing shifts, sometimes double shifts, and I keep to myself. She wanted someone who wore heels every day, went to brunch with other Botoxed wives, someone she could brag about to her golf club friends. Instead, she got me. I wore clearance jeans, liked books more than parties, and didn't care what she thought. She started small, passive-aggressive digs, backhanded compliments. "Jason always dated such stylish girls. You remind me of one of the nurses who took care of my father when he died. Don't worry, you'll lose that weight when the stress dies down." Jason told me to ignore her. I tried. But the closer we got to the wedding, the weirder things got. It started with a woman messaging me on Instagram. Her name was Lacey. She said she and Jason had been hooking up for 6 months. She sent screenshots of texts. "Can't wait to see you again," and "she doesn't suspect anything." My stomach dropped. I confronted Jason. He swore it wasn't him. He said the texts were fake. "I don't know any Lacey," he said. "Look through my phone." I did. There was nothing there. Not a single message like the one she showed me. Still, the screenshots rattled me. Then came the second one, Jenna. She said Jason got her pregnant. She looked about 6 months along. "Send a sonogram." "He's ignoring me," she said. "I thought you should know." I lost it. I screamed at Jason. I sobbed in our kitchen. He begged me to believe him. "I'll take a DNA test the moment that baby's born," he said. "Hell, I'll take a lie detector test." He was shaking. That part one remember clearly. He didn't seem guilty. He seemed scared. By the time the third woman showed up, at the coffee shop where I worked part-time, I didn't know what to believe anymore. She walked in crying. Said her name was Alyssa. Said Jason told her I was just a cover for their real relationship. That he promised to leave me. At this point, I felt like I was losing my mind. I didn't sleep for days. I started doubting every nice thing he ever said to me. We even took a break. He stayed with a friend for a week. We texted, but barely. Then one day, it all just stopped. The women disappeared. No more DMs. No calls. No crying visitors. We got back together. Jason swore on his father's grave none of it was real. He said he'd hire a private investigator just to prove it. I told myself we'd survived something awful, that now we were stronger. Then came the wedding. It was a warm Friday night in September. The vineyard was beautiful. Candles everywhere. Soft music. People were smiling. Even Melanie looked controlled. For once, she wasn't throwing shade. The ceremony was perfect. We said our vows. My dad cried. Jason's sister hugged me. For a few hours, it felt like everything was finally calm. Then came the reception. The DJ had set up a live stream so Jason's cousins in Florida and New York could watch. He told Melanie earlier that it was going live after the first dance. I remember the exact moment it all shattered. We just finished dancing. People were clapping. Jason kissed my forehead. And then Melanie picked up a champagne glass and staggered toward the mic. At first, I thought she was going to give a toast. My stomach tensed. I prayed she wouldn't make it weird. She tapped the mic hard. It made this awful screech. She laughed. Well, she said, swaying slightly. "We all know she'll never be good enough for my Jason." The room went dead still. "She doesn't deserve him," she kept going. So I did what I had to do. I paid 3 different women to try and break them up. My ears were ringing. I felt dizzy. Someone near me gasped. Another dropped a glass. Jason froze. Melanie raised her glass, smiled like she'd just told a cute story, and said, "Worth every penny." Silence. Shock. No one moved. She wasn't done. The pregnant one? Oh my God, I thought that one was genius. She laughed again. I had to beg that girl to stop after she started showing too early. Then someone yelled, "Jesus Christ, Melanie," and the whole room exploded. What she didn't realize, what nobody realized until later, was that the DJ stream had gone live 3 minutes before she started talking. The entire thing was broadcast live, unedited, loud and clear. A cousin in Tampa recorded it and uploaded it to Facebook with the caption, "This is what my cousin's new wife had to deal with from her mother-in-law." It had 10,000 shares by midnight. By the time we woke up the next morning, it was everywhere. Melanie's Facebook disappeared first, then her Instagram. By noon, people from her church had called Jason's sisters saying they wanted nothing to do with her anymore. Her bridge group texted, "We're done." Even her job, yes, she worked at a luxury real estate firm, put out a vague public statement distancing themselves from her views. Jason didn't wait. He walked into the courthouse on Monday and filed a no-contact order. But that was just the start. After the wedding, we didn't go on a honeymoon. We were supposed to spend a week in Maui. Flights, hotel, everything was booked. But instead, we sat in our apartment, blinds drawn, phones blowing up with texts and calls from people we hadn't spoken to in years. Some were checking on us. Some were just being nosy. One guy Jason hadn't seen since high school wrote, "Bro, your mom is a psycho. Is this real?" We turned our phones off by day 2. Jason was a mess. I've never seen him like that before. He just kept pacing. He didn't eat. Barely slept. I think the betrayal hit him harder than anyone. Not just what she said, but what it meant. That she'd spent years planning this. That all those women, the fights they caused, the distance, every doubt I had, none of it was real. But the damage it did? That was permanent. He kept repeating, "She wanted to ruin me." The no-contact order was granted fast. Jason gave them the live stream clip, plus statements from friends. Melanie wasn't allowed near either of us. She had to turn in her gun permit and couldn't show up to our work, home, or gym. She ignored it within 2 weeks. The first time she broke it was subtle. A flower delivery showed up at our door. No card, just a vase of white roses. I didn't think much of it until Jason opened the drawer and pulled out his old college photo album. There, tucked inside a page, was a photo of Melanie holding a single white rose at her wedding. It was her symbol of loyalty. She used to say it meant unbroken devotion. Jason threw the flowers in the trash. We didn't even call the cops. We wanted to believe it was a one-off, but it wasn't. 3 days later, I found her sitting in her car across the street from our apartment. Just sitting, engine off, sunglasses on, staring at our window. I called Jason. He came down. She drove off. We filed a police report. They said it wasn't enough to arrest her. The next week, someone emailed my hospital HR with an anonymous complaint saying I was abusing patients. I was suspended pending investigation. They had to look into it. Standard protocol. I cried in the bathroom for an hour. I knew it was her. Jason lost it. He called her lawyer and threatened a civil suit. The lawyer tried to act surprised. Said Melanie had been deeply embarrassed by the wedding. Claimed she was seeking therapy. We sent them one warning letter. Any more contact, we'd sue. 2 days later, our car tires were slashed. That night, Jason sat at the kitchen table, staring at nothing. "She won't stop," he said. "She's never going to stop." And that's when we made a decision. One I never thought I'd make. We decided to fight back, not just legally, but personally. We weren't going to wait around for her next stunt. We were going to expose everything. Jason started digging through his old emails. He found a login to a cloud account he hadn't used in years. Backups of old voicemails, messages from Melanie. Some were harmless, but one caught his eye, a voicemail from 2 years ago. She was talking to someone else. Left the voicemail by accident. It said, "I'm telling you, she's not going to last. I give it a year max. I've got 2 women lined up already." The blonde's eager. Jason sat up straight. Played it again. And again. The timestamp matched exactly with when the first fake mistress messaged me. He sent it to me. I cried. Then I got angry. We contacted a friend of his, a cybersecurity guy. He offered to help us track the women down. One of them, Lacey, had used a real email once to send me those screenshots. It was a burner Gmail, but our friend worked some magic. Cross-referenced metadata. IP addresses. Within 3 days, we had a match. Her name was Savannah Moore. She lived in Palm Desert. We called her. She denied everything. Then we said, "We have your IP address and a copy of the messages. We're giving you one chance to come clean before we press charges." She broke. Told us everything. Melanie paid her $3,000 to message me. Told her what to say. Sent her fake screenshots to send me. Told her to disappear after 2 weeks. She said she felt guilty. Said she didn't know we were actually getting married. Said she just needed the money. We recorded the call. Savannah gave us the name of another woman, Jenna, the fake pregnant one. Her real name was Colleen Vargas. Savannah didn't know her personally, but gave us an Instagram handle. We found Colleen. She was harder. Blocked us. But our friend helped again. Found her through public posts. She had a boyfriend. We messaged him. Sent him the live stream video, the voicemail, the screenshots. He messaged back. I didn't know she was involved in that. I'll talk to her. 2 days later, Colleen emailed us a long, rambling apology. Claimed Melanie had promised to pay off her car loan. Gave us her Cash App receipts. This was all falling into place. We were building a case. I still didn't know how far Melanie had gone, but I was about to find out. Want me to keep going? It gets worse before it gets better. We thought getting those 2 women to confess was the turning point. We thought once we had names, receipts, and proof, Melanie would back off. We'd go to court, maybe sue, and finally have peace. But we underestimated her. A week after we got Colleen's apology, a new Instagram account popped up with my wedding photos. My face blurred. Jason's blurred. But the captions? Brutal. Gold digger manipulates grieving man into marriage. Hospital nurse caught stealing from elderly patients. They were targeting me, trying to ruin me. And it wasn't just posts. Someone emailed the page to my HR department again. Another anonymous tip. Same lies. I got called in for a second investigation. Same thing as before. Nothing came of it, but the damage was there. My coworkers looked at me differently. My supervisor told me, gently, "I don't think this is going to go away until you take legal action." We tried. We filed a civil suit. Defamation. Harassment. Jason used the confessions we had, the call recordings, the live stream video. But Melanie didn't respond to the summons. She ghosted everything. Her lawyer quit. We learned later it was because she refused to stop harassing us. He warned her in writing twice, and she ignored him. She represented herself. And the court date was set. 2 days before the court appearance, Jason's dad, who lived in Arizona and hadn't spoken to Melanie in over 5 years, called us. He said, "I heard from Melanie. She's planning something. She said it's bigger than court." We didn't know what that meant. We were on edge. Then, the night before court, our apartment door was wide open when we came home. Nothing stolen, but drawers open, closets messed up, photos taken off the wall and placed neatly on the kitchen table. The police said it looked staged. That's when we checked our bedroom and saw the letter. Typed. No envelope. Just a single piece of paper, taped to the mirror. It read, "I gave you every chance. You turned him against me. You poisoned him. You took him from me. If I can't get him back, I'll make sure he sees what kind of woman you really are." Jason nearly threw up. We gave the letter to the cops. They said without proof she entered, there was nothing they could do. The apartment door had no forced entry, no prints. And Jason had once, years ago, given his mother a spare key. He forgot to change the locks after the no-contact order. We changed them that night. We didn't sleep. The next morning in court, Melanie showed up in a white dress. Like a wedding dress, but not full bridal. Just enough to be creepy. Her hair done. Pearls. Lipstick like blood. She sat alone, smiling. When the judge asked her name, she said, "Melanie Whitaker, Jason's real soulmate." The judge asked her to clarify. She repeated it, word for word. "Jason's real soulmate." The room went silent. She was removed from court, found in contempt. The judge issued a restraining order on top of the no-contact order. This time, permanent. But that didn't stop her either. She disappeared after the court hearing. For 2 months, we heard nothing. No texts, no letters, no weird flower deliveries or burner accounts. Just silence. I didn't trust it. Jason tried to relax. He picked up more hours at work. We started therapy. We even planned a short trip to Big Bear, something quiet, no social media, no wedding reminders. For the first time since that nightmare of a reception, I let myself think maybe we were getting through it. Then Melanie showed up in the worst way imaginable. One Friday afternoon, I got called into my hospital director's office. I thought it was about a shift change. Instead, I walked in to see a woman from HR, two other administrators, and a police officer. They told me someone had sent in video footage accusing me of stealing pain medication. At first, I laughed. I thought it was another prank, another lie from Melanie. But they were serious. They showed me a video. It looked like me. Same scrubs. Same badge. In the med room, pocketing something from the controlled meds drawer. My hands went cold. I looked closer. That's not me, I said. That's not my shift. I wasn't working that night. They paused. The timestamp was from a Tuesday night. I'd been homesick. I had the doctor's note, emails, everything. But it didn't matter yet, because it looked exactly like me. They suspended me pending a full investigation. Called it due diligence. I walked out of there shaking. Called Jason from the parking lot. Told him everything. He didn't say a word at first. Just silence. Then, she's trying to ruin your life. We drove straight to our cybersecurity friend. Gave him everything. Video, timestamps, footage from the hospital. He started looking into it. 3 days later, he called us back. You're not going to believe this, he said. That video wasn't fake. It was real. But it wasn't you. It was a woman named Sarah Munson. She was a temp nurse. Had worked only 3 shifts. Different unit. Different floor. But here's the thing, Sarah looked almost exactly like me. Same height, same haircut, even the same shade of blue compression socks I wore. She was hired 2 weeks before the video. Quit the day after it was recorded. The odds? Insane. We got her file. Asked around. Guess who gave her a reference? Melanie. Using a fake name. As a former employer. It clicked. She'd found a doppelganger. Put her in the same hospital. Made sure she looked enough like me on camera to frame me. Also, she could destroy my career. We took everything to HR. The truth came out. They lifted my suspension. But the damage was done. My reputation was cracked. I walked through the halls and felt eyes on me. Jason snapped. He sat at our table, laptop open, and said, she wants a war. We're going to give her one. He started writing. A full timeline. Every detail. The fake affairs. The live stream. The court. The sabotage at my job. The nurse. The forged references. The break-in. He posted it all. He titled it, My Mother Tried to Destroy My Wife with Fake Affairs, a Doppelganger Nurse, and a Staged Robbery. Here's everything. Within a day, it hit the front page of Reddit. Then it hit Twitter. And then the media. We didn't expect that part. But when the news sites picked it up, they started digging. And what they found? It turns out, Melanie had done this before. 2 decades ago, she'd been engaged to another man before Jason's dad. The engagement ended suddenly. Rumors swirled, but nothing solid. Now, one of the man's daughters messaged Jason. She ruined our family too, the message read. My mom still doesn't talk about what Melanie did. But I think you should know she paid a private investigator to spy on her. Got her fired. Lied to their church. This was deeper than we thought. And Melanie? She saw the news stories. She saw the internet dragging her name. That's when she went completely unhinged. We didn't hear from her for a few days after the post went viral. But then she snapped. She drove to Jason's old high school, broke into the front office after hours, and smashed every photo of him in the trophy case. He'd been captain of the tennis team. The glass was everywhere. They caught her on camera, sobbing, ripping down a framed photo with both hands. She was arrested. Her mugshot hit local news. Hair wild, makeup smeared, wearing a coat over what looked like a silk nightgown. People online called her the Wedding Crasher Mom and Emilezilla. Her name was burned all over the internet. That should have been the end. But Melanie wasn't done. From jail, she called Jason's sister, left her a voicemail, said she still had one last thing to say to me, that I deserved to hear it in person. Said it like a threat. The court denied her bail. She'd violated too many orders. She was held until trial. The trial lasted 2 weeks. The state picked up the case, breaking and entering, stalking, defamation, plus identity fraud from the forged job references. There was enough for serious charges. I testified. Jason did too. We showed the wedding video again. The courtroom went quiet when they heard her voice. Worth every penny. Savannah, the fake girlfriend, testified too. She said Melanie promised her cash, clothing, even an old iPhone if she did what she was told. Colleen sent in a written statement. The prosecutor called it a campaign of personal destruction. Melanie's lawyer tried to say she was mentally ill, that she wasn't thinking straight, that she just wanted her son back. But the judge didn't buy it. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison, plus mandated psychiatric treatment. Jason didn't cry. I didn't either. We just sat there, empty, while the judge read the sentence. After the trial, we went home and sat in silence. I remember staring at our living room wall for a long time. Everything felt numb. Jason finally said, "She's gone." I nodded, but something inside me felt broken. Here's the part one never told anyone, not even Jason until later. There was a moment, during the wedding chaos, when I doubted him. When the fake text came, and that girl showed up crying, and my own anxiety took over. I considered calling off the wedding, not because I thought he cheated, but because I didn't want to live in that storm anymore. I stayed, and I don't regret it. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't come close to walking that doubt, that crack she planted between us. It took time to fix. It's been almost a year now. We moved to a new apartment. I switched hospitals. We go to couples therapy. Slowly, we're healing. Jason still doesn't talk about his mom much. She sent him one letter from prison. Said she forgave him. That she hoped he'd come home someday. He didn't reply. Just burned it in the sink. I still have the live stream video saved to a USB. Not because I ever want to watch it again, but because some things need to be remembered. Sometimes, the worst monsters wear pearls and smile in family photos. But sometimes, justice gets the last word.